Hi, it's Moshe Schwed from All Daf. We had the great opportunity to interview some of our Maggidei Shiur before Shavuos. We asked them some basic questions. How do you prepare for your shiur? How do you even get into Daf Yomi in the first place? Anything unique about your shiur? How could a Daf Yomi learner spend his Shavuos? Now that we're deep into Masechta Shabbos, many people are fearing Maseches Erevin. What messages do you have for them? Anything special you could tell our audience to encourage them to push through? With the Yom Tov of Shavuos coming up, could you give us a special message for Shavuos and a closing message for the All Daf learners? Stay tuned for a 3-part series coming out this week. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Yom Tov. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? How did you get into Daf Yomi? And now that you're saying a shiur, anything unique you focus on? What do you try to give over to your audience?
It's a very, very interesting story. I think 2.5 cycles ago, they were finishing Masechet Nida, and there was a lot of excitement in the air. Siyum Hashas, Siyum Hashas. And I got excited. It just hit me in a split second. And I said to myself, I have 2 options. Either I could start Nida when I'm excited, or wait till Berachot. And I'm sure if I would have waited till Berachot, I would have cooled down and I wouldn't have done it. So I picked up Nida and I told myself, well, I like to at least give them the Gemara and Rashi. You know, if I could give them some Tosefos outside, if we're doing Agadah, I like to do all the Maharshas with them, not inside but outside. And of course, if we could throw in and bottom line it with a quick Halacha, that's always important.
I live in Yerushalayim with my 5 kids, Baruch Hashem, I'm zeichet to live in Ramat Eshkol, and I've always wanted to learn Daf Yomi, always wanted to be able to go through Shas. I've started a number of times, not successful, only made it a couple months in. And then right before the cycle, I had a neighbor of mine that actually asked me to give him a shiur. So I said, okay, why not? It's an opportunity. We'll give it a try. A friend of mine asked me if I could record the shiur and send it to him. I said, okay, why not? We'll give it a try. And then he sent it out to a few people, and then sent it out to another few people, and then the quick daf was born, before you know it. And I appreciate the uniqueness that people have given me the opportunity of preparing a shiur, which is just straightforward and to the point. Simple Gemara, Pashut Pshat, with some Rashi thrown in there, and that's it. People just want to know the daf, and I'm zeichet to be able to give a shiur like that.
I grew up in Brooklyn. I went to, Haimish Yeshiva, Litvish Yeshivas, Brisk, Lakewood, the real, Iyun type of learning, Yeshivish type of learning. And it was the furthest thing from my mind, learning Daf Yomi. I was the type of person, literally, it's not like the type. I remember me and my Chavrusah, we, literally for 3 months. And that's the type of learning that we did. So learning Daf Yomi was definitely not on my radar. And how it happened was actually a very interesting story. I never went to like Daf Yomi. I was sat and learned in the Kaisla Yeshiva. And I got married, and my father-in-law took the family to the Sima Shas. It's like I was the young son-in-law and the first one. So, I was along for the ride. I was in the Continental Airlines arena. And there are all these speeches, and it was beautiful. It's so inspiring. But I'm like, I'm a book person. So what am I doing? I'm flipping through the thing, and I see they give the first daf over there, brachas. I'm like, okay, what's tiach yet? What am I doing over here? I said, I told my younger brother, I was joking, I was kibitzing with him. I said, let's do the first Amud. We're sitting here anyways. Might as well make the most of our time. I said, if you start now, you can finish Shas before you get married. He's like, no, I'm in yeshiva. I'm learning the Siddur yeshiva. I can't do that. He says, you. I said, me? You know how busy I am? 3 star a day, and I was tutoring, and I was teaching, I was doing all these different things. Impossible. So it's okay, but let's learn. We sat down, we learned the first Amud, Geschmack, Bracha, starting off, and then I saw an ad for Dirshu, and the rest is history. I got sold on Daf Yomi. It's something that I'm very proud of that we're doing as a resource for so many different factions to utilize. It's a shiur on Tosefos. With the Daf Chaim style that Baruch Hashem, I still get so much feedback all over the world regarding the Daf Chaim, and we're doing that with Tosefos, which there are other mediums that are trying to also now address Tosefos, because Tosefos is, it's the screw that ties together all the boards. You have the Gemara, but we all go through Tosefos. All roads lead through Tosefos, and Gemara Rashi is one unit, and then there's everything else. in all of the Talmudic literature with Halacha, Pesachim, you can't go anywhere without Tosefos. And All Daf is having that feature of the Daf Chaim clarity of a small introduction, what the Tosefos is going to talk about. The Tosefos just giving you the Tosefos as a basic text as possible, and quickly summarizing when necessary after the Tosefos. We're doing that on Mitzvah Sofa, a lot of Siyat Shema, every Daf, hopefully in Shas.
I started learning Daf Yomi when Rabbi Shalom Rosner gave me a call once, and he asked that he's looking for a Chavrusah to learn Daf Yomi with. And I wasn't really interested in learning Daf Yomi, but I was interested in the Chavrusah with Rabbi Shalom Rosner. So we started learning together. So that's how I started learning Daf Yomi. And a couple of months, we started with Krisus. A couple of months later, we were sitting in the Beis Medrash, and Rav David Willig, we were sitting in Beis Medrash in DRS, in the local high school here, when Rabbi Rosner still lived in America. And Rav David Willig, one of the outstanding Rebbeim there, came over to us. He's a little older than us. He's a much bigger Talmud Chacham than me, for sure. And he said, "Nu, Chavre, you're learning Daf Yomi. You both have shuls. You have to start saying a Daf Yomi shiur. Daf Yomi is going to make a Siyum HaShas soon. You have to start saying a Daf Yomi shiur." So we thought he was crazy. We thought no one in our shuls would be interested in the Daf Yomi. We both had very tiny shuls at the time. And but he pushed and he pushed. Rav David Willig is not the kind of person to give up easily, and we listened. So we both started giving Daf Yomi shiurim. That's how I started getting into Daf Yomi. As far as what is unique about my shiur, I don't think there's anything particularly unique about my shiur. Most of what I do, I just say over. Try to say the Gemara as clearly as I can. I learned a lot from learning with Rabbi Rosner all those years about how to arrange things in a clear way, always put numbers to things. The Gemara is going to have 3 mahalchim to answer this, warn people in advance how many it's going to be. They could already map it out in their minds in advance. But all of that, everything there's nothing unique. It's just what I've picked up from my Rebbeim and my Chavrusahs.
I, Baruch Hashem, have been saying Daf Yomi shiurim. We just began now our 5th cycle. So what I try to do in saying my shiur is try to bring the halacha l'maisa, the practical halacha from the Gemaras we're learning, how they apply to our day-to-day life. And I do it for a number of reasons. One is, I was once by Rebbe Yoshev Zatzal, who I was telling him about our shiurim and how involved we are in the shiurim, and he made that recommendation. And I also find that many of the people who participate in learning a Daf Yomi shiur are not necessarily individuals who have much other time for learning. So this becomes their primary learning of the day, of the week, of their lives. And of course, halacha is an important element. We all have to know how to live our lives as religious Jews. So if we don't have really much other free time to learn, I try to take advantage of the halachic aspects of the Gemaras that we're learning and how they could be applied to our day-to-day life. Of course, when we're learning Masechta Shabbos, that's obvious that we need to do and easy to do, but I try to do it throughout all of the Masechtas of Shas.
Started more than 2 cycles ago. My father did Daf Yomi all my life for many, many cycles. I grew up while he was doing it. I never did it. I did it for a few weeks when my father was sick about 1990 or so. He was sick for a couple of weeks. My brother and I, started to do the Daf for a couple of weeks while he didn't do it. He caught up very quickly when he Baruch Hashem got better. But I remember Ksubas Daf Ayin Zion. That was the first Daf. And the story about Juban Levi and the Malach HaMavis stealing his knife. I'm like, wow, this is Daf Yomi. This is amazing. And, then you get to the next parak, and it's not every day is as exciting, so to speak. But it was always in the back of my mind at some point, you want to see every daf in Shas. You want to be able to do the first step of being koned is just going through it. So I know at some point, but a couple of cycles ago was when I thought, and my wife also had a big impact in terms of encouragement. And it started at Krisus, which is really towards the end of the cycle. And we did it then. And then when Brachas came along, a couple of couple of the members of my shul in Woodmere at the time asked, do you want to learn the daf with us? I said, okay. And then once they said with us, it turned into turned into a shiur. And on the second day, Brachas Daf Gimel, they said, you mind if we record it? And so that's how the recording started. And Yata D'Shmaya, kind of has a life of its own, but we do it day by day. And Baruch Hashem, I've been zochet to be able to learn, as many of you have been zochet to connect to each daf every single day for the past number of cycles. Two cycles of the goal. The dream was to have every daf up, which Baruch Hashem, the All Daf has now. But I wanted to take it to the next level for myself, for others, and that's picking one sugya, sometimes halachic, sometimes hashkafic, sometimes lumdis, on every daf, one topic, 20 minutes, to be able to delve deeper. As Rabbi Freya said 2 cycles ago, 2 siyum ago, he says, if you've done the daf, it's like going to a new country. You go visit. So you do the main sites. The second time you go, you've already done the main sites. You want to get a little deeper. You want to know it a little more. So that's like, once you've done the daf, and Baruch Hashem, you've had a lot of Yesodos mentioned, to go a little deeper regarding 1 or 2 of the issues on the daf. 20 minutes, a little package, mini shiur that hope to that complements that and supplements, to listen to the regular daf, 50-minute or so daf, and then add that to the lumdis on the daf, for that shiur. We try to do it almost as many days as we can, Baruch Hashem.
Being that you're busy and you have other responsibilities, when do you have time to prepare for this year? And has anything changed during COVID-19 that has forced you to alter your preparations?
You have to carve out time. And that time means that you have to shut your phone and you can't be interrupted. Every day is a different time. I don't have a set time when I do it, but that time becomes dead to the world. COVID actually has made it easier for me because I have less responsibilities to the congregants because we're just not getting out, less functions, less social functions. So there's a silver lining in that as well, that I have a little easier preparation time.
When always varies. It could be any time from 5 o'clock in the morning before the kids wake up to way late at night after the kids go to sleep. Any time in between then is fair game.
I'm sure you're getting a myriads of answers, and it's fascinating because we go to all the Deer Shoe events, and my wife I say she's the speaker in the family, and she tends to speak, and they ask, and all the other women are saying like, yeah, my husband comes to a Deer Shoe test, that's it, you can't talk to him or whatever. My wife's like, I don't know, my husband's just like a regular husband, I don't know. And the way I prepare is really, and COVID is the same thing, it's whatever life brings, and that's my MO and how I deal with life. It could be at 2 o'clock in the morning. It could be whatever the life brings to my schedule. That's how I prepare. I have my work that I do. I have my other shiurim that I do. It's as it comes along. And yeah, definitely COVID has changed it. I tell people I'm at 25% capacity. So for all you people out there who have Chalishas Adas, I had to shove a lot of different things, although I actually started new projects right now. But it's like you have to come to the awareness. And the Mechayev of preparing a daf, you can't come tomorrow empty-handed. So whatever it's going to take, it's going to take. That's how I prepare for the daf.
Prepare for the shiur every morning. I do it in the morning before I give the shiur. The shiur is at 6:15. So I wake up a little bit earlier and I prepare in the morning. That's always been my mahalich because I'm a morning person. My mind is fresh in the morning. At night, it would take me 3 times as long to prepare at night. So I've always been a morning person. It's a little bit of time pressure because if you're allowing yourself an hour to prepare for the shiur and it's a really tough blot in Erevin, so then you daven for some siyata d'shmaya and you hope that you make it through anyhow and that you'll have an epiphany while you're giving the shiur. That you'll figure out the Gemara as you're saying, which does happen sometimes, a lot of siyata d'shmaya, and sometimes you just don't get it, but you try your best. And it's changed for the COVID during the COVID-19 period only in the sense that because there's no tefillah b'tzibur still here, there's no tefillah b'tzibur. So I've been davening vasikin every day. So I had to wake up a little bit earlier and then fit vasikin like right in the middle of my preparation of the daf. In order to make everything work.
Everybody has their unique style in how they live and how they offer a shiur and how they prepare a shiur. And what I have discovered is that the need for having a schedule when you prepare and what you prepare is critical. And doing it, and if you do it on a regular basis, in a very organized way, it will become easier to do. In general, my family knows, and that, in my opinion, one of the most important qualities one needs to have in life is being organized. Organized people are much more successful, in my opinion, are much more capable to accomplish more. And as daunting as it is of preparing a shiur for 7 days a week, and it is certainly a challenge, if you have an organized approach to it, it certainly becomes easier to do. In a way, COVID-19 has certainly made it easier for me to prepare the shiurim. I know nobody says that COVID-19 made anything easier, but for me, in one regard, it made it easier because I live in Brooklyn, I work in Manhattan, and spend, under regular circumstances, at least 2 hours or more a day traveling back and forth from work. And that time on the subway is spent for preparing a shiur. Now, preparing a shiur on a subway, if anybody's ever traveled the subways of New York City, you could recognize is in itself a challenge. And certainly getting a seat is the first and most important element to successful preparation. Now that we're unfortunately not able to go to our offices, so I still need that time to prepare, but it's much easier to prepare in my home than standing or even sitting on a subway car.
Every day's a challenge. People have asked me, so how many dafim are you ahead? I said, tomorrow's. You know, that can't be that far. I'm giving a lot of different shiurim. You just got to be prepared. I know I once spoke to a Maggidei Shiur that gets up 2 hours in the morning early to prepare the daf. I can't go to sleep without having it the night before. Everybody's different. But you try to find time, try to figure out exactly. Obviously, when I'm, before the Magefa struck, there was different schedules, finding time. But now it's like all the kids have been home the past couple of months. That's the biggest challenge, having everybody in the house. My wife's a pediatrician, so she goes out and she works. I'm home with the kids all day, getting everything done with the Zooms and the classes, and so it's challenging. But I try to wake up early, a couple hours before everybody else, and try to prepare then. And it's a different type of preparation. The daf was a daf shiur. Again, try to pack it in with as many rishonim, achronim, using the mesifta, the biurei hadaf, some other svarim, or just sticking in as much as one could pack in. I'll talk about that more in a minute. But again, this is different. The first question is what topic to talk about. You look over the daf and try to figure out one point that people would want to know more about, something crucial, something important about this daf and shas. Is there a yesod that this daf teaches us to try to bring out to all? That's what it is. And then it takes, depending on the topic, whether it's something that's more familiar or less familiar, that's the svarim are out there, and a lot of the work has been done already. Whether it's the back of the mesifta, whether it's the other mafarshim, other sifrei kovitz on every mesechta has its svarim. So sometimes you can work backwards in terms of when you're preparing a shiur, and you have to look everything up. That's it's crucial. Even if one is preparing a shiur and you're using a sefer that is a ma'asef that gathers, the crucial point for one's own learning and to be able to give it over properly is to look up the original source, the rishonim, the achronim, and that's key in terms of being able to give it over and to be able to appreciate what the source says.